Oh, we're live already. We're live.
Show
I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show it. So hello, welcome everybody. Here we are. Brace yourself.
Yes.
We have a great show.
Big time
one.
show.
Big show. Big show. Very excited. I'm gonna get this up on my Facebook page because this is a question and answer show. If you want to ask some questions of our guest today. So where are we? You still don't see us.
I don't see us. I'm looking.
Every week.
This is how we open the show every single week.
It says we're live. There are two people watching. That's probably them right over there. All right. So I don't know why this is happening, but let me show you this. So I want to show you our new logo. So there it was. Brace yourself with Roseanne and Chris.
Yes, I made the logo.
There it is.
Very exciting.
New logo. Very exciting. That new logo is going to be on our COVID-19 face masks that are being made. We're going to be giving those away, so that's pretty exciting.
And we're trying to. Well, we said also if we let people buy them, maybe we can use the money.
We can, but I think they're going to be good giveaways. I have T-shirts, and then I can donate that money to the Actors Fund.
All right, I like that idea.
So, so that's what's going on. So, and the new logo. Thank you to Snare Graphics.
Thanks, Adam,
for redesigning it. Thank you, Adam. It was beautiful. And
I think Adam wanted Adam, like Roseanne and Adam.
Well, he did make mention.
Just saying, Adam. I don't want you and I to have this thing, brother.
Doesn't want tension.
Yeah.
Doesn't want tension.
Let's call it what it is.
So, how was your day?
My day was the same as every day during COVID. It's Blur's day. So
yeah.
To me, it's all the same. But we're back to work. I got more people back now, so it's pretty good. And things are moving along. Let's talk about your day, because your day was a little bit more eventful than my day.
My day did not start out too great. I was actually ahead of the schedule, ahead of the game, had time to spare. So I was doing a few things around home, and then I go, oh, God, look at the time. I run out of the house, lock the door. I look in my bag. No keys. No car keys. No house keys. Thank God I had my phone. And I had that panic moment,
like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Do I have anything in my bag where I can break into my house? No, I do not.
Does anybody have a spare key? Does Judy have a spare key?
Judy has a spare key. First, Bridget.
Thank you, Mom. Bridget, nothing. She
has a key, but I didn't know she was on her way to work yet. So I was like, let me call Bridget. I know she'll be up, and she can bring me the key. Right. She was pretty far to work. So she said, did you call Sarah? Sarah sleeps like 12 o'clock. So I said, let me call Grandma. Judy, you up? Yeah, I'm up. Oh, good. I got locked out of my house. All right, let me get dressed. Then I get a call from Bridget, her roommate, Christine. She was up. She's coming. She's on her way. I called Judy back. Judy, put your pajamas back on. Relax.
Go back to sleep.
And now I'm waiting in the driveway. Like I'm casing the joint.
But were you late for something? Were you late to go to work?
Sort of. There's not really much going on because there's no kids in the building.
So there was no pressure like you have. I have to be there.
No, but we're getting set up for a big, drive-by graduation thing. Yeah, and my boss gets a little tense on those days, high stress levels.
But you made it there.
I made it there. Oh, and the guy was coming to pick up my car to do an oil change. So I had to call him 3 times and tell him I was running late because I still had to stop at the bank and get money.
Disasters.
So it was very disastrous morning.
By the way, this is all before 8 o'clock?
Oh, yeah, all before 8 o'clock.
All right. That's a full day right there.
And then to make matters worse.
Oh, this is not good. I know this.
You know what's coming.
I know what's coming.
Sean Hayes, if you're watching, and I know you're not.
I'm so sorry. This is not going to be good.
I made a TikTok of a scene between you and Karen Walker.
Yeah.
And you duetted someone else. I had to shut TikTok off last night. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, you were upset.
I was upset.
Yeah, it's not good. What was he thinking?
I don't know.
I don't know. So what are the steps we're going to take to, I don't want to say shame him,
I'm going to aggressively stalk him on social media
Yes.
until
And
he
have
agrees
you-
to come on.
well,
Brace yourself.
Have you done that already? Have you?
I have stalked him and Kevin Hart.
Is there anybody else I should know about?
I may have stalked Pink a little bit.
Jeez.
Listen, I go for the gold, baby.
Yeah, well, you don't have.
I got
Spears on
gold.
the show
We
yet.
got gold today. We've got gold.
It is gold.
Today.
Yeah, this is big time. Like, I don't know. Like, this is kind of like out of my league stuff because I don't know. So when Roe said, John Bolton's coming on, I'm like, oh my God, John Bolton, he's coming out with a book. He's the ambassador. What are you going to do? How bad do you react when people say you look like a walrus? Why do you always want to go to war? She's like, no, dummy. That's not that John Bolton, the famous John Bolton, the actor. I'm like,
Oh, that John Bolton.
So I went crazy and I learned a lot about John Bolton.
Yeah, he texted me. He's like, I
got questions.
I know so much about John Bolton. I probably shouldn't know as much as I know.
I know a lot about people from Broadway now, and I'm pretty excited. Like, but John's like, there's
Broadway,
and then
there's Bolton.
We're talking TVs, we're talking Carnegie Hall, we're talking big time stuff.
Yeah, big
I'm a little nervous.
As a matter of fact, he's had 38 roles on Broadway.
Jeez.
Yep, and he's appeared in the original Broadway production of Curtains, Spamalot, Contact, Titanic, A Christmas Story, my personal favorite, and Anastasia.
Anastasia.
Yep.
Big time.
And while COVID was started, he was in Hello Dolly touring.
Yes.
So, big. And on TV.
Good Wife. Gossip Girl. Oh, what's the other one?
Madam Secretary.
Yes, Madam Secretary.
And
several shows.
And the list goes on. And also Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, that's a big one. HBO.
Yeah, I know.
I watched that scene. Where, he was the waiter. I watched that.
And
got knocked out.
If you're not impressed yet.
Yeah, this is more impressive.
He has been nominated for numerous awards.
Yes.
Including the Outer Critics Circle Award for Best Featured Actor in a Musical for Anastasia. The annual Drama Desk Award for Best Featured Actor for A Christmas Story. And that's just a few.
Yes.
The list goes on. But why should we?
Yeah, let's let him talk about it.
Let's let him talk about it. But before we do, I just have to share something with everybody. My favorite picture of John Bolton. Oh, who's that with John Bolton?
Oh, my gosh.
That would be me and my girls when we went to go see him in A Christmas Story.
That's awesome.
Yep. So there it is. So without further ado, folks, and if you have questions, I'm trying to find this on my Facebook feed. I don't see it. I don't know what's going on. But
are we there? Are we live?
I don't know.
We must be.
You find it.
It says you're live.
I'm going to bring on John. Here he comes. You have the questions then.
Well, the first question is, John, what are you, like 6'7" standing next to these girls?
I'm 6'9" in stiletto heels, but I am 6'2".
How are you? Welcome to Brace Yourself. Thank you for joining us tonight.
My pleasure, Roseanne and Chris. Roseanne, that picture that you just showed, oh my gosh. First of all, I feel to have that haircut now. Thank you.
Right, I know. I feel that.
Second of all, I don't know who was more starstruck in that photo, you or me, because I was so excited to meet you. I was so thrilled you guys were there that night.
Oh, I was so excited too. I was like, I can't believe that this is happening. And it was the first time it was just me and my girls going to a show.
Yeah.
So, and we just had a great day, and that show just kind of just topped everything off, and we had the best time. And then I got to bring them to meet you, and that was like the icing on the cake.
It was a pleasure. Beautiful girls.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, let's get the obvious question out of the way. How are you in quarantine? How are you handling it? What's going on?
We're good. My partner and I are at our place upstate in the Catskills. We've been here since mid-March. I was out on tour with Hello Dolly, and we were just about to close, actually, and we were going to close in my hometown, Rochester.
Oh, no.
And I know, and we were about a half a week away from getting to our final city. And, of course, we had to stop because we'd rather have everyone alive and safe than having seen Hello Dolly. So, we've been here since then. And so I haven't been to the city since January when I was on a quick layoff from the show. I miss it terribly. I miss the pace. There is constant underlying concern on my end about the future of our business. I know there will be a future. It's just the unknown is a little scary. Especially when you're my age and set in your ways. But I'm hopeful for all of the great moves that are being made, and very proud, continue to be proud to live in New York City and to be a part of this amazing industry.
Yeah, you've made quite a career for yourself. It's
You
really.
know why I got lucky?
Oh no, you didn't. You have
Yeah.
talent. You have talent, and
Yeah, you don't star in 38 roles because you're lucky.
no.
Well, there weren't 38 all at once. It was like there's
But-
only been like 9 Broadway shows, but some of those shows I played a lot of roles. So there you
Yeah. Well, but you had 38 roles. I checked.
Well, here's a question. So, what is the average lifespan of like a Broadway performer? Do some people do it for 5 years and then just stop? Is it 10 years? Can people really do like a 30-year run of it? Like, well, I don't know what that percentage is. Like,
Well, of course, it varies wildly depending on the person's personal life. Are there children involved?
Yeah.
Is there a spouse who has a job that has to take them away from New York City? So many variables like that. Money is a factor because when you're not on Broadway, can you afford to stay in New York City and continue auditioning, or do you need to go do something else for a while? And then sometimes doing something else for a while turns into doing something else for a long time, because the stability of a 9-to-5 job is very appealing to people in my business, because we don't get that unless you happen to be in the rare hit show. And even then it's only a year or 2 or 3 if you're really lucky.
Right.
How old were you when you started? When you decided that this is what I want to do?
I think it happened the night I saw you play Annie in Buffalo, New York, at Shea's Buffalo, which is the last theater where we played Hello, Dolly.
Wow.
I just saw, and of course, and Annie had come to Rochester as well with the amazing Christy Coombs, who I know we're all friends, which is amazing to me. And of course, I saw it in New York as well. And it was the only show currently playing where there were kids my age in the show. And it just looked like such a damn fun thing to be doing. And I was so pissed there weren't boy orphans. Roseanne, I actually wrote Martin Charnin a letter at age 13 or 12 or 13 to say there should be boy orphans. I have figured out new lyrics to Miss Hannigan's song, Little Girls, to accommodate that. And I sent him the new lyrics to.
Did you ever find out if he got it and if he read it?
He did not respond. No. And when I did, because of course I did the 20th anniversary production years later, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm working with Martin. I was never quite brave enough to ask him, because not long after we started touring with that show, I booked Titanic. And I knew that my big conversation with Martin had to be about, can you please let me out of my contract so I can go be on Broadway? So I tried to limit my conversations with him, but I'm thrilled to work with him, as I know you would.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was, but I was a kid, so I didn't ever worry about what I said to him. So probably said a lot of things
That's the best. I love working with kids.
said, but
That's how I just kind of went with it. Why not at that age?
yeah.
Let's go. You don't have to worry about it.
I love
So,
working with kids because they are honest. There's no real wall. You're going to get pretty much the truth from a kid. Working with kids and animals has kept me on my toes and a very happy man.
Bill Berloni.
Bill Berloni.
Oh my God, the best.
What? We interviewed him.
Yeah.
I was like in shock that he could do all that stuff.
Yes.
Bill Berloni, the world famous animal film Broadway, and he and his wife Dorothy travel all over the country finding these amazing animals who they rescue, they save their lives, and they become stars. The animals become stars. My 2 beautiful bloodhounds from A Christmas Story would have died and they wound up on Broadway. I mean,
Sandy, the first Sandy was about to be euthanized. And boom.
How was Christmas Story as much fun to do as it was to watch? Because it was a great show. It was so much fun, and it wasn't a classic. It's a classic movie, so that's had to be a little, scary.
It was a big responsibility because you've got this beloved property, and you better not screw it up because people, have expectations when they see it. But fortunately, we had, Benj Pasek and Justin Paul writing our amazing score. It was their first Broadway score, and it's just filled with one great song after another. We had the great Joe Robinette, whose heart is as big as the rest of his body, adapting the screenplay for Broadway. And we had the great John Rando directing, the director of Urinetown, someone who knows comedy and knows heart. And we had a terrific cast. The beautiful Erin Dilley was my wife on Broadway. I had wonderful other wives too. Rachel Bay Jones was my wife on tour, with that show. But I had 5 years. That show was 5 years of my life. It was 5 years of, I've got blood and sweat and literal scars on my body.
Oh, no,
Happy ones, but scars on my body from doing that show. But it's something that I'm so incredibly proud of what we created. I think they did a terrific adaptation, and it was so fun to do, just to get out there and run around like a madman with a leg lamp. Come on. Who doesn't want to be surrounded by a chorus line of leg lamps and then be attacked by two bloodhounds and get
That was the greatest number with the leg lamps. I love that number. That
Warren
was
Carlisle, our wonderful choreographer. Warren Carlisle crafted that for me and all of us, and just so grateful.
You had questions? I know you have questions. I have a lot of. We'll pepper them in. See how
I'll try to keep my answer short. So, I caught that.
All right. So you just talked interesting. You said there was tons of great music and the score was wonderful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you know when you hear it for the first time, or you're doing a preview and you do the show and you're like, you know what, this is going to be a best musical. Like, I know this one's going to do it. Or do you know, like, this one's not great? Do you know instinctively, like, wow, I've been doing this long enough. This is the real deal.
Sure. You have gut reactions to things in rehearsal, and to usually it comes from the director and the writers, the tone they set in the room. And sometimes a star can affect the tone in the room. Yeah. And of course, a good tone almost inevitably leads to a good show. But yeah, there's this thing called goosebumps that you still get when you can sense when it's rocking and rolling. In the case of Titanic, our first preview, we didn't go out of town with that because it was too expensive to take out of town, because we had to gut the Lunt-Fontanne Theater and build this huge 3-tier set and then sync the thing. But our first preview, the whole opening sequence they didn't stop clapping and cheering. It went on, and we thought, we're in the biggest hit in town. We're going to run for years. Yeah. And then the rest of the show happened, and we had technical difficulty after technical difficulty. We had to send the audience home on more than one occasion. And I remember very early previews, there were boos for some of the design elements. Wow. Boos, not booze, but boos. Right. And that was pretty gut-wrenching, but I will say, obviously, they used the feedback of the audience to their great advantage and did some wonderful, powerful, I think, rewrites, and pulled 5 Tonys out of it.
Yeah, because you said, I saw you do an interview that 20 questions in 2 minutes, and you said
I watched that too. That was good.
That was good.
And he did them.
He did them.
Although
he gave me a little extra time at the end. He was very polite.
Yeah. He gave that one to you.
He did.
Yes.
He gave it to you. But you said good. Titanic was really near and dear to you.
Well, they're all special. You guys know, they're all your kids. Each show is your child in some way, But that was just a great, great company. Just a great cast from top to bottom. And of course, I think we rehearsed it for about 7 weeks, which is unheard of these days. We were mostly playing real people who we could research. I was playing someone who survived, so there was a lot to research. Not much was on the page, but I wanted to know about it. And then I think the whole trauma of the previews, we really pulled our bootstraps up and did it. I think having gone through all that together made it special. Anastasia was special. Curtains was a great group of people. Each one is special. Each one is special in its own way.
Do you have a favorite?
The next one.
That's a great answer.
Whatever the next one is. I got to tell you, though, I don't think I've had as much fun doing a show as I did doing either my first Broadway show, Damn Yankees, where I was just one of the guys and dancing and singing and having fun. But this Hello, Dolly was pretty special. I was opposite the divine Carolee Carmelo, who was so generous. She let me do my stupid stuff, and I just loved every moment with her. And I just got to stand there and watch her be her fabulous self every night. Plus, the show is so well written, and it's something that I think the world needs, just to sit there and be surrounded by just joy. All Hello, Dolly is well-crafted joy. And to get to slip into that, thanks to Jerry Zaks and Warren Carlisle, was so much fun.
Well, I really think, there have been a lot of musicals and shows on Broadway, very topical or heavy. And I think, especially now coming out of all of this,
We need more of it.
you need more of the light, happy. That's why you go and see a musical to laugh and tap your foot. And
Takes you away from the everyday.
Yes.
And those shows that you did, they did those things. As a matter of fact, Christy Coombs says hello.
Hi, Christy.
And Deborah Jean Templin saw the anniversary production in St. Paul and has a picture with you and Billy. So
yeah, she came to see the 20th production of Annie when we were out of town still at the Ordway. Deborah Jean's been a friend for years. She was one of the first people I met in New York. And when I found out she was Grace on your tour, Roseanne, I freaked out. I was like, oh my God. To this day, I am still so starstruck and excited to meet people that I looked up to when I was a kid.
I think it's the coolest thing that Facebook, for all of that it is, it really brings people together. And the fact that you and I could reconnect on
So
Facebook
great.
and this great thing has happened now, and you're here and giving of your time, which I'm so appreciative of. I think that it's just
anything for you.
If we didn't have this stuff, we might never have been in contact again, which would be so sad.
I know. I would have written a scary letter and you would have said, who is this creepy man? You would have gone to the library, remember those, to look up John Bolton. You would have found that other guy and gone, oh, hell no.
Yes, I would have thought it was the other guy, not you, definitely. So what was your first professional role? Like, how old were you?
I was out of college. Well, in college. It depends what you call professional. I got $15 a performance to play Matt in the Fantastics in my hometown while I was a freshman in college. And I was thrilled. I thought I'd hit the big time. And then there's a regional theater in Rochester called Jiva, which is the Lort resident theater there. And I worked in small roles there and got my equity card there. And then, but my first job as an equity actor was a show called Theda Vera and the Frontier Rabbi. There you go.
Where was that?
It was in Albany. And I've since worked with most of the cast of that again, and we can still sing the songs from that. It was a great score, actually.
Wow. That's great. And do you remember, because I remember the moment that, I found out that I was going to be Annie. It's etched in my brain. I don't think could probably, if I got Alzheimer's when I'm 80, I would still remember that moment. Do you remember the moment that you got the first thing?
When I found out I was going to be Annie?
Yes.
Do I? Gosh. I think when I found out I was going to do my first Broadway show was when I was the happiest, because I was supposed to do a show called Paper Moon that our marquee was up at the Marquee Theater on Broadway, and we had done it out of town to great success. And it was an amazing cast and a wonderful score, and of course, based on the terrific film, great script. And for some reason, we just didn't come in, and our marquee came down, and it was all so sad. And I was devastated because it was going to be my first Broadway show, and my hometown paper had already done a thing saying Bolton's going to be on Broadway. Wah, wah. So the show Damn Yankees had been a big success at the Old Globe in San Diego. And now this theater that Paper Moon was supposed to take was suddenly free. So Damn Yankees moved into our theater. I remember when their sign went up, I was like, Damn Yankees. And then someone left. My dear friend, Michael Winther, left the show to take other opportunities early in the run. And I wound up on that stage.
Wow.
But anyway, where I was supposed to do Paper Moon. But I remember getting that call and running around my apartment and jumping up and down.
Absolutely. You were destined to be on Broadway. Do you know M. Sterling from San Francisco?
Hey, Michael Sterling, how are you?
He says, hi, love from San Francisco. And then he said that we both have the same hairdo. So
his is redder. His is prettier and redder than mine, though. Mine's
okay.
I'm dying for a haircut. Who wants to come to Berryville, New York and give me a haircut? That's all I want to know.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah. I did the sneak backyard. Don't let the neighbors see us. Somebody gave me a haircut. I was lucky enough.
Looking good, Chris. You are a lucky man.
Because there was a lot of gray going on.
So What have you used?
Man, you may not need to see this, but I am so ready to play Tessie right now.
Oh my God. Yes, you are.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of good stuff there with
There
that.
is.
You know, you might wind up keeping that hair. You never know.
You never know because everybody's lawyers and accountants and that I play on TV.
That's true.
None of them have hair like this, so I'll have to read. This could be my chance to
It could be.
finally play someone who doesn't wear a suit.
Redefine yourself.
Huh?
What have you been using this time now that you've had for? Have you been working on anything, like any personal projects that you've always wanted to do and you're taking this time, or
Yeah,
are you just
we've owned this house for about 5 years now, and we're never here more than a day or a day and a half a week, what with an 8 shows a week schedule on Broadway. And we're finally here to do some yard work. And so I am Mr. Gardener, lumberjack, yard work guy. I bought an axe, you guys. I bought an axe. I went to a store and bought an axe and several kinds of saws, and I know how to use them. And I've groomed our whole yard. I don't know if you can see it. We have a whole bunch of woods, and I'm hiking there. But I found it really hard to concentrate kind of on anything for the first month or so. I was just sort of uprooted and what's happening, and no one knew what was going on with the world. And I could really only kind of read short-term things like short stories or essays, and did a lot of Sporkle, which is online quizzes and stuff, which I love, and the crossword, and just short-term things. But lately, I have started watching, and I'm gonna post about them. I'm way behind. I should. All of the Oscar-winning Best Pictures in order, and I'm about 15 in right now, and that's been quite a pleasure. And some of them I've even gone back and watched twice, and I'm writing extensive things about each one. I know it's been done before, but it's something I've never done before, and I feel like these are great American films that should be mostly American films that should be seen. And why haven't I seen Casablanca? What's the matter with you, Bolton? So I've been watching the Oscar-winning Best Pictures and enjoying it immensely.
Oh, well, that's
You see all the clips of it, and then you never sit down and watch it because everybody's binge watching now. So everybody's Netflixing and doing all that stuff, and that's such a great idea.
That is a great idea. And I've heard people talk about these great classic films, and I've never seen them. And I'm like, I really have to watch some of these classic films. Why don't I do that? And now I do have the time, because now Monday's my last day of work, so I'm off for the summer.
Yeah.
And
Monday's fun day for you.
Monday fun day, exactly.
And I will say, with most of them, I come away with thinking, like Wings, the 1927 one, was a silent movie. I thought, well, I'll suffer through this, and then I'll get on to the real ones. It was fantastic. It was thrilling. It's about air pilots, obviously, and the air fights, the dog fights in the planes, and oh my gosh, it was, I think, one of the best films I've ever seen. So,
and how do you find them? Are they on?
Most of them are on Amazon Prime, and with whatever membership you've got, they're free. But I think they're like $1.99 to $2.99, depending. Whatever, they're cheap, and you get them for like a few days. So,
that's great.
There's only been a couple that I was like, oh my God. I think it took me about a day and a half to watch this one called Cavalcade. That just was so dull, but I'm glad I saw it.
And it won Best Oscar? Best film?
1933, as a matter of fact. Wow. I'm turning into that guy now.
That was the beginning of a very
period.
Tumultuous time.
Rough.
Yeah.
So, now you're big time. I know we keep saying that, but you are big time. Have you become friends or friendly with, like, friendly being somebody in your phone, a celebrity where you're like, what? Right?
Their name pops up and you're like, oh my God. Well, I don't want to name names, but yes.
Oh, please do.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Just today, I became friends
with John Bolton.
Oh, wow. Well, that and $1.50 will get you Cavalcade on Amazon Prime.
That has to. So we talked a lot about Broadway. Let's talk a little bit about your TV roles, because they're quite different than your Broadway roles.
Can I just ask one Broadway thing?
Please, go ahead.
All right, so this question is driving me crazy. I gotta know.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a little story first. So I go to beautiful Carole King story, right?
Oh, I love that show.
Right, it's a great moment in the show where she's just sitting at the piano and she's playing. I think it was Shalina Kennedy was playing her, and she's playing, and I'm in the front row. We got pretty good seats that day, and she's locked in on me, and I'm locked in on her, and I don't move my eyes, and I'm like, Carole King is in love with me right now. Like, I'm like hitting my wife, like, Michelle, do you see? Carole King loves me, and we're not losing eye contact. So my question is, do you fix it? Can you see people in the audience? You fixate on somebody when you're doing a number. Do you gauge your reaction by their reaction? Like, how does that work? It's because I really think she's in love with me.
Well, she may have spied you, Chris. You never know. There's a couple answers to that. For the most part, we cannot see actual faces in the audience unless they're in the very front row, and they're getting a little bit of spill light from the orchestra lamps.
Better on spill.
Usually the case, because usually there's a spotlight on you and all you see is black, just blackness. In a scene where you are not the main focus and maybe you're standing to the side, you can see the audience a bit because there's no spotlight to blind you. If a spotlight is not on you, yes, you can sort of see the audience. Like we'll see people wearing like super reflective jogger outfit who you just can't miss.
Well, I always go to the theater with a super reflective jogger outfit.
Who doesn't?
Several times. This is embarrassing.
But for the most part, unless you're sitting in the front row, we cannot see you. We can hear you. We hear you talking sometimes. And the candies, just open the damn candy. Just go. Who cares? Just
back in the day, you couldn't bring candy in and the drinks in the middle of the show.
But even if you do have to open it, just do it, but do it quickly. It's the excruciating slow thing. And turn your phones off. Although I was guilty of that. I saw a production of King Lear with Christopher Plummer at Lincoln Center. And it was after intermission, and I had friends who were also at the show. And we were chatting and catching up. It was Cast of Contact, kind of like having a reunion. Forgot to turn my phone off. And my ringer at the time was a chicken.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, God.
Fucking chicken. And it went off loudly in the middle of the second half of King Lear. So I've been that horrified person. I think I soiled myself when that happened. So I know you don't do it on purpose, but boy, it's tough when a phone goes off. And then
open that candy slower, like they think it's not.
It's going to be less
noisy,
quiet,
and it's just longer.
Just open the damn candy.
Deborah Jean said to tell them about Hearts and Voices.
Oh yes, Hearts and Voices was. I think I'm not sure they're still around, but it was a wonderful organization that would put cabaret and Broadway, off-Broadway, any performer who wanted to do it, into AIDS wards to entertain the patients who, in many cases, had no one to come visit them because a lot of them were completely ostracized by family. Friends, no one knew what this really was in the early 90s. And you would go in and sing for them. And it would just strip away any pretense whatsoever. There was no, ha-cha, cheesy time, I'm in a hospital ward, because that wouldn't be appropriate. So you sang from your heart. It was an aptly named organization, Hearts and Voices. And a lot of times the patients were too sick to come to the common area. So we would go into the rooms, and you had to have a pretty extensive knowledge of at least a refrain of most of the Great American Songbook songs, because you'd get requests. Will you please sing this song or sing this song? And you do it. And there was a prison ward where Seth Rudetsky was in charge of that one, a prison ward at St. Clair's. Where you went in there. So that was Hearts and Voices. And I don't mean to make it sound grim. It was actually incredibly gratifying.
Yeah, it sounds like you went in and you did some really good stuff for people who were having a really hard time.
Yeah.
So it's a really great thing.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So I'm switching to TV.
All right.
Yeah,
switching to TV because you're in hot shows, man.
I don't know about that. Well, the shows are hot. The shows are hot, but I don't know about me.
Gossip Girl,
So
That was-
fun.
That was, my kids were like, you said Gossip Girl?
So much fun. Loved
What
every moment of it.
What do you prefer? Well, what do you like about it first? What do you like about television?
I like doing it because it's something I never thought I'd do. I never thought I'd be good enough to do it, because early on there was a real bias against musical comedy actors, stage actors, but musical comedy actors in particular, thinking, oh, we don't want that. We don't want on our show, because it's a drama and everyone sort of whispers now, especially now. You rarely speak above this tone of voice right now. You rarely speak above that in anything. Otherwise, if I spoke like I'm speaking now, they'd be like, John, why are you shouting? But I'm not going to be LA guy. I think I love New York. I have 2 homes in New York State. I'm not going to leave. And I try to grab what little TV I can. And fortunately, more and more TV shoots here. And fortunately, the more you do, the more you do.
Girls shoot here in New York? Did those shows?
Gossip Girl shot here. There was one season where they went over to France for a few episodes, but for the most part, it was all here. It was at Silver Cup Studios. Okay. Great memories of that. Most of my scenes were with Kelly Rutherford, who played Lily, and I am forever in love with her. She was so welcoming. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. Who plays the lead? Who plays Serena? Blake. Oh my God, Blake.
Blake? No.
Blake Lively. So sorry. She was so, like, my second episode, she came up and was like, John, right? Welcome back. And I was like, thank you. I've got 4 lines, but thank you for remembering my name and stuff. It was a very welcoming set, and I was thrilled that my character kept coming back until they murdered me.
Oh, jeez.
You got murdered?
I got murdered. And then there was a whole trial. So I felt like I was on even more episodes, because there was a whole trial to find out who killed me, So I was technically only in 6, but they talked about me for about 10.
That's great. Hey, it's not great you got murdered.
No, it's not great. You kind of hope you don't get killed off of anything, but
right.
It
so
happens.
Did you know, like, when you read the script, you're like, oh, damn it, these guys are killing me off?
No. I was actually I took it as a badge of honor. I took it as, they think I'm important enough to die. I was so excited, because the character started out as just sort of like, hi, I'm your basic, probably really nice, boring guy who's your accountant assistant. Actually, I run the business, and maybe I know a little bit more than I should. Actually, I do know more than I should, and actually, I'm a horrible human being. That was my arc of my entire character over the episodes. So it was fun to play that. It was fun to be trusted with that. It wasn't some huge thing. I don't mean to make it seem like it was some huge role I had. It wasn't, but it was a lot of fun.
It was good.
Clothes, my God, those clothes.
Yeah, I mean, just the clothes alone. I mean, first of all, you've worn some really great costumes, especially in Anastasia.
Oh yeah,
thank you. I love that. Oh, Linda Cho, beautiful suits.
Good stuff.
You wanted.
I think it's time.
Pepper gets peppered.
I think it's time to.
Woo!
Okay, so
I'm a little nervous. Not gonna
so
lie.
John, basically you do all musicals, right? So have you done any jukebox musicals?
I have to think about it. No, I don't. Not that I know of.
Okay, so this is the jukebox musical. Pepper Gets Peppered, and
okay.
So I'm gonna ask, what artist was featured in these famous musicals that have been on Broadway?
Okay.
All right.
And Roseanne, I'm giving you first crack at it, right?
Yeah, so I can get it wrong and you can get it right.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say the name of the show.
Okay.
And you're gonna guess the artist or group.
Okay.
That's a little hint too.
All right.
American Idiot. I didn't see. I knew.
Hold on. Can I get a clue?
Billy Joe.
Don't know.
That was a pretty good clue.
It was a great clue. Frontman of the band they're based on. May I say it?
Go.
Please do.
Green Day. Greatest band ever.
100%.
I love that band.
I don't think I'm going to get 8 out of 10 if this is the line of questioning.
I'm going to give you a softball right now. I'm going to give you a softball.
All right.
Mamma Mia.
ABBA. That's.
Is that correct?
Let me see. Yeah, I think it's correct.
That was a softball. Okay.
That was a softball.
Oh my God.
On your feet.
Oh, I know. Gloria Estefan.
That's it.
That's correct.
That one I know.
Beautiful.
And the
I
sound
don't know why
machine.
I talked about beautiful, so I gave that one away.
All
I'm
right.
going to give you that
That's
one.
a gimme. That's a gimme.
But what a great show that was.
You know, I wanted to go see it, and I never did get to see it. I really hope that I can see it somewhere because I heard it was fantastic, and I never got a chance to get into the city to see it.
It's awesome. Just love it. All right. We Will Rock You.
Oh, Queen.
Yes.
I'm better at this than I
She's
thought.
it. I told you. Moving Out.
Billy Joel.
Such a good show.
I'm moving out.
Head Over Heels. This one. I might, John.
I don't know it. Do you, John?
Oh, stop. You, no, it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps.
You.
The opposite. Stop.
Not stop. It's the logo. All right. We tried. Listen, we tried. You tried the plural one.
I tried.
All right.
I would not.
So you did not get
I did
that.
not get
and you
the
did not get that.
Go-Go's.
All right. This one you should get. Jagged Little Pill.
Alanis Morissette.
That's correct. Which I loved, by the way. That was a great show. Because I didn't expect anything going into that show. And then went a whole different direction. Like, I was like, wow, this is pretty good. It was totally original.
I have a question. How many more do you have?
3.
Okay, quick question. So, being a Broadway actor, and this is a serious question, there's a show on Broadway, right, that you really want to see. Do you have to buy a ticket?
Unless you can get into their invited dress rehearsal, which is possible sometimes because a lot of these shows share producers, or unless you can go, again, if you share a producer, sometimes if they have a show on a night where you don't have one, but usually I'm like, I'm out, I'm going to my house. So, but the answer is in general, no, you do have to buy a ticket.
Just curious. You never know. All right.
I have 2 left.
2 left.
Opening night, they pay for you. Sometimes they call you and they say, will you come to our opening night? And they give you 2 tickets for that.
Oh, that's nice.
You meant 3 tickets.
3 tickets next time, Chris.
That's what I thought you said.
So the star can stare at you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Front row.
Front row.
It's the only way I roll. Girl from North Country. This is a stumper.
Do you know it, Bolton?
I do. It's currently playing. It's loaded with some of my favorite songs because it happens to be one of my favorite artists.
I got her.
You got me on
This
this
is
one. I
the
don't
Bob
know.
Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Oh, I never would have guessed that.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a girl.
The girl.
I was saying.
Where's the B-52s musical? That's the one I want to be in.
Yes, you should be in that one.
Okay.
You could be Fred. That's probably a good role.
Role.
Kidding me?
No, I want him to be in it because I want to work with them. I would sing back up for them in 1 second. I love it. Dream. That's my dream job. Singing back.
B-52s. Do you like the B-52s at all?
Yeah, I do. And I don't know a lot of.
You got to listen to some of the obscure stuff. It's fantastic.
Exactly, Chris. That's the best stuff. Is the older.
Love Shack. Love Shack is great. Don't get me wrong. I love Love Shack.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of other stuff that they do, especially.
I'm finding out doing this with you that I am greatly lacking in many areas that I need to pick up the pace and really like.
See what you.
Now I have to watch all of the Oscar-winning movies. I have to listen to the music, and now I'm stressed because I have to stalk people. I don't have this kind of time.
But you know lots of things that we don't know.
I don't know about that, but thank you for thinking.
I've learned a lot. Listen, just for you introducing me to this, I get to talk to John. I get to talk to tons of the people that's this. None of this is in my wheelhouse. I don't know, but it is now.
Now it is.
Are we ready for the last question?
We're ready.
Sure.
Wait, can I guess it before you even ask it?
Why can't I just ask?
All right, go ahead, ask it.
Oh, I think I know it too, Roseanne.
Go ahead, ask it.
Once upon a one more time.
That wasn't the one I thought. I thought he was going to say Jersey Boys.
There she is.
Oh, and there's.
Oh, there goes my glass.
You broke your glass?
I did.
Uh-oh. L'chaim. Oh.
There she
Oh, yeah, Brittany.
Yeah.
Brittany has been.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Did you know she was behind the chair?
I did not know she was behind the chair. Brittany has been on every Brace Yourself episode.
So.
He's obsessed. Speaking of obsessed.
I am.
Well, Chris, I've got a surprise for you.
You're Britney Spears. I knew it. Roseanne, you did it.
I did it. Just for you. Just for you.
Did you know? Were you going to guess that?
Yes.
No, you were.
Oh, yes. You got to get a little more slick now because I know she's coming.
I know.
I was sure it was going to be Jersey Boys / Four Seasons. So there's that.
Well, you should be in Jersey. Boy, you'd be great in that.
The guys never left. The two guys playing the old guys never left the freaking show on Broadway.
Yeah.
So I kept saying, well, they're going to leave. And I didn't think I was going to get it. But I was like, well, I hope I at least get to audition for it.
That's slide right in.
They never left. They bought 5 houses instead.
So before we go, do you have anything in the works for, when this is lifted? Is the tour going to resume?
No, Hello Dolly was set to close anyway. So they can't get everyone together and just do a week in Rochester. As much as I would like that, not going to happen. But no, I actually had a couple things, irons in the fire, but everything's been canceled, for now. But things will come back. Yes. It will be a very different industry. Yeah. In many ways, it will be a very different industry. And in many of those ways are very positive and very, I hope, forward-thinking and forward-looking. But I hope I continue to be as lucky and be a part of it as I have been so far.
Well, I'm sure you will be.
Sure.
You're wonderful. And I thank you again so much for your time. You're amazing. And when you get back in New York City, I want to come into the city and we have lunch.
Lunch and drinks, please.
And drinks.
And I have a quick question for you. One quick question for you, Roseanne.
Yes.
Does anyone ever ask you to say, blow it out your old wazoo?
All the time.
Really? And you're like, okay, done. And do you do it? Or are you like, I'm trying to live my life?
I do.
Roseanne, will you say blow it out your old wazoo?
John Bolton, blow it out your old wazoo.
Yes. My night has been made. My work here is done.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I appreciate it so much.
My pleasure. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye.
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 He's awesome.
He's amazing.
Come on.
So great.
That's big time.
Yeah.
That's some big time stuff.
You broke a glass, man.
I know.
You spilled precious wine. All right. Look, I want to know something. Do you see the time? We're doing good on time.
We are doing good on time. We're only going to go about 2 hours tonight. So
don't worry. Don't worry.
Just
hang in there. It's all good. No, we have.
My daughter loves when we run late, so this is what we're doing. Don't worry, Madison. This next hour is for you.
We have Judy's Gems.
Yes, Judy's Gems is exciting. But now Judy's Gems has to be careful if she has open-toe shoes.
Yes.
Because I dropped the glass.
Judy needs to be careful. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado,
I'm going to move
I've
this
got
to
your
the middle.
ticker going on the bottom of the screen, Mom. Come on, Judy.
Judy,
It's time for Judy's Gems. Let's go. You're a gem.
Oh, you're a gem.
You are a gem.
I'm
Watch
so
your
worried
tootsies.
about breaking my glass.
I
don't
know.
worry about it.
Broke his. All that good wine.
So, and here she is.
Oh,
Judy's
This is
Gems.
always in the way.
I know. And look up here because that's where you're.
Hello.
So, let's wait for Chris to get back.
Yes.
You should probably just drink right out of the bottle at this point, Chris.
There's more?
Oh, hell, yeah.
Well,
You want some?
that's empty.
Okay. There's the gem right there. Cut the show. We're done.
So, what'd you think of John? He's great,
You
isn't
know,
he?
Ice? You want ice?
No. Why water it down?
It's my mom.
I feel so inadequate. He was such a good guest. And
Really?
now I come on with some dribble.
Drivel?
Dribble.
Drivel.
No, it's dribble.
No, it's drivel.
Drivel.
Is it what?
Don't worry about it.
Dribble, dribble. You say potato. I say
So,
patata.
Judy,
What's the deal?
what's bugging you?
What's bugging
What's
me?
bugging you this week?
Well, I really shouldn't complain because there's a lot going on in the world.
Mhm.
A lot of stuff that
Yeah.
in comparison,
But
it's new things, new ways of doing things. This virtual doctor appointments.
Oh, yeah.
What's up with that? What's up with that? So now I have to have another virtual appointment next week, and it's been, postponed and postponed and postponed. So she called me today, and it's postponed again. And now I have to get a link.
oh, we looked for this link in her email
You
that
know
she
why-
doesn't know how to access and find it.
No, you know why we couldn't find it?
Why?
It
Because
didn't exist.
She never sent it.
She didn't send it yet.
No wonder you couldn't find it.
But anyway, I said to her today, "You're going to send me a link?" "Oh yes, we'll send it to you right before So I guess I was looking for something that didn't exist.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's.
But
with
will
it-
you know how? Will you know how to do it when the link comes? You're gonna know.
I think I'm getting the hang of it.
All right.
I really do.
All right. So
I
we're moving in a
really-
positive direction.
But the thing is, this is not to lay out all my business,
please don't.
but this is with the surgeon, and she kind of well, I'm a cancer survivor, so I'm told, breast cancer. So how am I supposed to be examined? What am I supposed to put my boob up against the screen? What's the point? What's the point? What am I supposed to do?
It's a good point, Mom. It's a good point.
It's like,
Look, you're making Chris turn red.
oh,
You can make some money.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry.
Fine. You can put your boob against the screen. Other
But
people have been known to do that.
What's
I think they call it porn, but
It's porno.
Well,
It's fine.
well, I'm
Maybe.
not. I'm going to have clothes on, but that's why I'm saying, what's the point?
there really is no point,
No.
maybe, other than I don't know.
Other
Well,
than
maybe
I have
that's
to
not a
sit
good-
home.
It's not a good example
point,
of
yeah.
telemedicine.
Well, I've had
Oh.
others.
Okay.
Couple of them, and how are you? Well, they're all in that area,
Right.
and not one of them could examine that area. So I had two others. So right now I could be, walking around with a problem.
Nobody would know.
Nobody would know. So there you go. So that's my thing today. I just don't know if it's worth it. Is it worth it? Give me some feedback, people.
Well, the first telemedicine thing I had with my doctor, they made me pay a copay, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Really?
wait a minute. I have to pay a copay for a virtual doctor appointment, but the next appointment, no copay. I think doctors started getting a lot of flack for that, and they were like, "Yeah, really? How can we?"
Well, they were thinking if they do, every one is 2 or 3 minutes. Think about how many copays you can rack up.
And you're charging me for the visit.
Well, my thing is back
It's
in
not
the
a visit.
day when, like, for instance, I had the flu last year, and I was so sick, but I had to get up, had a bed, go to the doctor. Now all of a sudden, you don't have to go to the doctor. They can diagnose you over the phone, or
How do they know?
face-to-face. But what I'm saying is, that's when I would have liked a virtual visit. I'm dying. Give me something. That's all. But you know what? It is what it is, and what can I tell you? All I'm saying is, I got to look at my notes. Which one did you like? That's the way I see it. So there. I'm out of here.
Love you, Judy.
Love you too.
You're the best.
Awesome.
Okay.
Be
All right.
careful.
I will be. I'm not
All right.
that drunk yet.
Oh, good. I'm so glad she's not drunk yet.
Don't
So
worry, there's more wine.
that's the way she sees it. I don't even think that's the
Yeah,
one we
That
agreed
wasn't
on.
even the one we liked.
We didn't even agree on it.
Oh, I didn't actually hear.
It's all right. So
Yeah, what a great show, man.
This
I'm
was a
really
great show.
I'm excited.
yeah, I am too. John was absolutely
Hey,
gracious
can
and
you show?
wonderful.
Did you show the new logo yet? with my name on?
I did.
You
I
did?
showed it
Okay.
at the beginning.
I just wanted to maybe.
But
do
you
it
know what?
again.
You want me to do it again?
just
I
saying.
could show it
I'm
again.
just kind of proud of it.
Hold on. Here we go. Are you ready? I can't show it while we're on, so we're not going to be able to talk.
Never mind.
There's the new logo
Thank
with
you.
his name. So I'm going to put it on Facebook, the new logo, so everybody can see it up close.
Yes.
And on Instagram.
Yes.
And Sean Hayes, I'm going to continue to stalk you on TikTok.
Sean Hayes.
Kevin Hart.
Britney Spears.
Pink.
Pink.
And you know who I bet if I could ever get in touch with her?
Who?
Lady Gaga is a very, very sweet, nice
She's big
person.
time, big
She's
time.
big time, and she's really a nice person. I bet you if I could get in touch with Lady Gaga,
You want me to text her?
could you?
No problem.
I would appreciate that.
I'll take care of that.
So this was it. We did great. Our time
Time was perfect.
Our
on
time was
point.
perfect.
We still can go for like another 3 minutes.
Your pepper gets peppered was
that a good one
that
today?
was a really
did you
good
like
one.
the pepper
I
gets
did.
peppered?
I really did
We need a
enjoy
little feedback on the pepper gets peppered
Yeah.
stuff.
And
I knew he would know all of them. I knew it.
yeah,
I knew it.
you did know it. I didn't.
I thought I maybe had you on like you were gonna do like
What did I get? Six.
You got 6.
6.
Well, no, you got 7 because you got Britney.
Oh, right. So that's better than I thought I would
The
do. To be
Go-Go's.
honest
The
with you.
Go-Go's. How did you not get that?
I don't know.
Head over heels.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Jukebox
kind
musicals are different. I was going to ask John, like, would he want to be in one of those? It's not an original score. It's somebody's music. I mean, it's Alanis'
He'd be
music.
great in one of those.
But he'd be
so.
really good in that. If that's like his favorite music, maybe he could do something like that.
He's got to find a musical to keep his long hair,
Yes.
right?
Well, we got to find him like he lives close to Woodstock. Okay.
Yeah.
So Woodstocky.
Woodstocky, yeah.
Maybe like a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young thing.
Yeah. Well, you know
They got
what?
a billion songs.
We're going to write our show, right? We're writing a show,
Yes.
and we're going to get John Bolton to be in it,
100%.
right?
It's from Rochester. They like hockey.
They like hockey up there, so we're going to write our
Yeah.
show. We have a lot of work to do this summer. you
Well,
and
if I could get you to finally sing a song, we
I'm
could
going
maybe
to.
start on our mini project.
We are. We're going. This weekend, I swear,
We're going to shoot it.
we are.
I'm ready.
I promise.
I kind of have some visions.
Kind of busy
But you
on
know what?
Saturday and Sunday, though. Well, it's Father's Day on Sunday. It's your day.
I'm busy on Sunday.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Thank you.
To a great dad.
Thank you.
So,
Questionable to some of my children, but that's fine.
no, they know. They know.
Oh.
Madison loves this.
She's sitting right over there. She's not saying a word.
So, folks, I think we are going to call it a night for
Yep.
Brace Yourself. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks.
I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah,
John Bolton.
I enjoyed it.
I had a great time. I loved it. John Bolton, thank you again.
Thanks, John.
And we will see you next week with what? We're not quite sure, but we're working on stuff.
We all working on stuff.
We always work on stuff. So
We always come up
brace
with something.
yourself.
Yeah, before you erase yourself. Yes.
All right, we have to get this guy another glass because he broke
Yeah,
his
I'm
glass
sorry,
and
I broke the
it's
glass.
empty now. So
Britney
have a great
Spears,
night.
you owe me a glass.
And to
Britney.
all you dads out there, happy
Yep,
Father's
happy Father's
Day.
Day, boys.
Have a great Father's Day, and I will see you next week. All righty. Bye, everyone.